Dear students, we would like to go for a quick revision of our Plus One English textbook. Our first lesson is his first flight. Hope you remember our young seagull who was afraid to fly, who alone spent his days upon the ledge. His parents tried in many ways to force him to fly, but he was afraid. But parents were sure that he could fly. Still, he was not confident. And his mother, she tried a trick, and that worked out. And the young seagull, he jumped out from the brink of the ledge where he was standing, and he somehow learned to fly. He gathered the confidence that he could fly. And also he gathered the confidence that he could float in the sea. So 2 life skills he studied. Can we say that he studied everything? No. It was his innate talents, and he discovered those talents, or he understood that I have these talents. The next lesson is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's speech, I Will Fly, is the lesson's title. And Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he is now delivering a speech. In that speech, he just mentioned another occasion, another incident, another function, the inaugural function of a project called Shastrayaan. And there he says, one student asked me certain questions. He said that he was afraid of everything, and he expressed his dreams. He had high ambitions. He wanted to become a marine engineer. He wanted to become the captain of the ship. He wanted to build the ship. But he was afraid of everything. And what was the advice given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to that boy? Be unique. Discover your own talents. You have got great talents. I will fly. I am born with wings. So every human being is born with wings. And Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said, never try to be just like others, but be unique. Our next lesson is a quest for a theory of everything. We remember Stephen Hawking, who was a very well-known scientist. He had a lot of problems, issues in his life. He was affected with severe disease. He was not able to write. He was not able to properly manage his fingers. He was, say, at a later stage, he was not able to speak. Still, he managed to write a brilliant book named A Brief History of Time, and it became the bestseller. And he made a lot of discoveries about black holes and time and universe. So, see, against all odds, he fought brilliantly, and he had only a narrow track to succeed. He identified that track and he went through. See, he can blame everything and he can sit back without doing anything. But that was not Stephen Hawking did. He fought and he made his name in the history. Our next lesson is the poem If. Rudyard Kipling's, if it is a didactic poem, but it's didactic, which gives you a lesson. So it shows how we should hold on in our life. Sometimes we may fail, sometimes we may succeed. Still, we have to keep our mind strong and we have to move on until our last breath. And we have to be true to ourselves. Integrity. Even if everyone says many things against us, if we are true to ourselves, we can hold on. And even if you keep high relations, be polite and be ready to mingle with common people, such many advices are given, and then it's an offer. Then, my dear son, you will become a man and all the world is yours. The next lesson is, and then Gandhi came. Gandhiji entered into Indian politics at a particular juncture of time. After the First World War, when all Indians were having such a psychological issue of defeatism. What is defeatism? A feeling that we will fail, we are born to fail. So, at that moment, entered our Mahatma Gandhi. And he had to fight against British people, and also he had to empower the Indian people. He had to build up the confidence of Indian people. He had to make Indian people believe that we could have freedom from Britain, the almighty Britain, the powerful Britain, which defeated many countries in First World War. So there Gandhiji was a victorious person. Gandhiji succeeded in that endeavor. He wiped off fear from the hearts of Indians. He substituted truth instead of falsehoods. And he made serious efforts to eradicate poverty and also untouchability. Thus he empowered Indians. And what was the next phase of his attack? He was able to cut the economic veins of British people. The economic veins of British people were properly cut by Gandhiji. He told every Indian, what did he tell? Boycott the foreign goods. Boycott the foreign goods. And Gandhiji made all Indians believe that the British honors, awards are against our nationalism. If you receive an award from British people, then you are a traitor. You are an anti-nationalist. So, Gandhiji changed, just like a magician, he changed the scenario of Indian politics, and that helped India to be liberated. This is written by Jawaharlal Nehru. It is taken from Discovery of India. Our next lesson is a beautiful story named The Price of Flowers. We remember our Gupta, Maggie, Frank, that diamond ring, Mrs. Clifford, everything we remember. So it's a beautiful story which depicts the intensity of human relations. So an Indian, Mr. Gupta, Maggie, Mrs. Clifford, they were British people. Frank is a British soldier who is working in India. So normally an Indian will feel an enmity against that family. But here the humanitarian considerations are above all. And Gupta helps the family of Maggie and Mrs. Clifford. The love between mother and son, Mrs. Clifford and Frank, that is really portrayed. The affection of Maggie towards Frank is portrayed. The poverty of a British family is portrayed. Everywhere, both in India and also in Britain, there is poverty. The helplessness of Maggie and Clifford, Mrs. Clifford, they were not able to go and see the tomb of Frank. That is their helplessness, their poverty. They were able to send only a few shillings to buy some flowers and place it on the tomb of Frank, their beloved, who died in the battle in India. Gupta agreed, and the story ends. Our next lesson is Death the Leveler. It's a funeral song. In this poem, the poet clearly says that everyone will die, even it is a king or a great person or a great soldier. At last, death awaits all. And after your death, you cannot boast about your great deeds. Your tongue will be silenced after your death. Then others will speak about you. Only if you have done good deeds, just deeds, then that fragrance of your good deeds, that will be spoken by others. So only that will remain. So do good when you are alive. That is the message of this poem. Our next lesson is the sunrise on the hills. Sunrise is a common topic for almost all the poets for writing a poem. We know when we start drawing a picture, we will start with sunrise. So it's a common topic. It's a wonderful sight. Here, our poet, Longfellow, he is watching the sunrise from a hill. And also, he just gives a romantic touch to the sunrise. The sunrise, it's sun's returning march after defeating the darkness, after defeating the night, and the sun is now just watching the earth. Who is earth? The fiancé of sun. He is just watching the earth, and those sides are being seen by the poet from the top of the hill. And the sun is attacking everything that disturbs his sight of his fiancée. The clouds are being attacked by the sun rays. Everything is being attacked, and he is getting the clear picture or clear vision of his lover, the earth. At the end of the poem, the poet just gives an advice. What is that? Dear friends, if you have any sorrow, please come to the top of the hill and watch this beautiful nature, beautiful sights like this. Your tears will be wiped off. your heart will be filled with fresh energy, fresh thoughts, freshness. Like that, he closes the poem. Our next lesson is the trip of Lehola, Maupassant's travel essay. It is all about a balloon ride, Lehola, the preparation of the balloon, then when it went upwards, the sights which they saw, including Eiffel Tower and the beautiful landscape. Then when they went above the clouds, they saw the moonrise, and it was a wonderful experience for them. And only moon and they were there in their world. They even forgot everything about Earth. After a few hours, they started their return journey and they landed safely. So a balloon ride and its excitements, its risky elements, such things are described in this lesson. Now our next lesson is the sacred turtles of Kantavu. We remember the Namuana villages, Raudalis, Tinaikoboga, the villains from Nebuchadnezzar villages, turtle calling and all. So the villagers of Namuana village, they are still observing a ritual based on a myth. The maidens of the Namuana village, they still go for this ritual and they utter the chant or mantra. Their belief is that the turtles are the successors of Raudalis and Tinaikoboga, who were taken away or captured by the people of Nebuchadnezzar village, and because of the interference of the sea gods, they were saved and they were transformed into sea turtles. And now the successors of Raudalis and Tinaikoboga, they come to see their people when the maidens of Namuana villages call them. And there is one condition more, but is that no person from Nebuchadnezzar village should be present there. And Namuana villages, they will never catch any turtles for food. They think that they are their own people. So through a myth, we are protecting our nature. We are now moving to our fourth unit. The first lesson of fourth unit is disasters and disaster management. In this unit, we first saw certain disasters. Majority of them are natural disasters like drought, flood, wind, storms, like that. Then earthquake. Then some man-made disasters we discussed. And in the second part of this lesson, we discussed the system which we have to mitigate the ill effects of the disasters. And here we understood that by taking proper measures, we can reduce the casualties and also the destruction of natural and man-made disasters if we take proper measures. Our next lesson is a story by Dr. A.J. Cronin, the Zarang of Ranagiji. And here we can see Mr. Hassan, the Zarang, and a young doctor who was the chief physician of the ship, and he was the only physician of the ship too. And we can see Captain Hamble, who was the captain of the ship. Here they faced a disaster. What was the disaster? Smallpox. Smallpox was identified in the ship. The ship was deep in the Arabian Sea. To any port, it will take minimum 8 days. What will they do? If they declare that smallpox is on board, then everyone will be panic. So what will happen after that in the ship, we cannot predict. So they were in a dilemma. The captain gave full authority to the young doctor and a helper, the Saran person. And they managed it properly. They kept it secret, and also they gave maximum protection to the people, maximum nursing to the people affected with smallpox. Thus, Zaran was revealed as a person with a great heart. And to give a projection to this great person, the story writer, he has introduced a character like Job Smith and her friend, who insulted or made fun of Zaran, or made fun of his appearance especially. So the story tells us that it is not the appearance that matters, but how you behave. Our next lesson is a poem, The Wreck of the Titanic. Titanic is also a topic which has evoked millions of people to write. The angle of this poem is the bravery of the soldiers, the crew of the ship. Captain Smith and his crew members, who showed the brilliance and bravery when they were facing death in front of them. So that is something beyond description. Though Titanic, that ship, didn't have the required number of lifeboats, they were able to control the mob, and they gave priority to the women and children, and they were able to save many, as many as they could. So brave crew members were hailed as victorious soldiers of great battles. So that is the angle of the poem. Our next lesson is Gooseberries, a good story by Anton Chekhov. We are familiar with Ivan Ivanich, Nikolai Ivanich, then Alyoshin, Bokin. So it's about happiness. The discussion is about happiness. Ivan Ivanich is speaking about his own brother, Nikolai Ivanich. Nikolai Ivanich was a dreamer. He was just doing everything to accomplish just one dream in his life. Just one dream. That was his one and only one point, was that dream. What was that dream? Have a great estate, have a great farmhouse, a duck pond, and gooseberries all around. So that was his dream. For that he did many things. He didn't think whether I am doing this in a right way or wrong way. He didn't even think of the ways which he took to accomplish his dream. He even exploited his merits for accomplishing this dream. He even starved his wife, and just like a thief, he stole her entire wealth after her death. And when he expressed the extreme happiness after eating the gooseberries, Ivan Ivanich was really shocked. And he understood that behind every person who is having such a happiness, there are many who suffers in silence. So a conflict goes on in the mind of Ivan Ivanich. And he is now utterly confused whether to achieve a happy life, even though we trouble many people, or be true to ourselves and be contented with what we have. So such conflicts are there in his mind. So definition of happiness which we can never identify. So such a brilliant thought is shared by Anton Chekhov. Our next lesson is To Sleep, a poem by William Wordsworth. He is praying to the goddess of sleep to bless him with sleep, because he was not able to sleep for the last 3 or 4 days. Now he is asking the goddess of sleep, oh, you blessed barrier between day and day, you the mother of fresh thoughts, please bless me, let me sleep. And the particular style of this poem is this is a sonnet, a 14-lined poem. Okay, here we stop our quick revision. We have 4 more lessons. Still, we don't expect questions from those lessons, so we just close it here. Okay, all the best.